Imagine working all your life or you're working hard and you start to save. You start to save. And you even follow the principle of, minimize your expenses, cut down your expenses. Then guess what? You wake up one day and you find that you cannot afford agbado, you cannot afford a bag of rice, you cannot afford a bag of gari. Now, you didn't lose your money. They didn't steal your money, but your money lose value. And the question is why? The question why first or is the heart or the center of what they call modern finance, or they call it modern money. Now you cannot afford to buy the fuel you used to buy before. You cannot afford the food that you used to buy before. You can't even afford transportation that you used to afford before because your money have lose value. Because your money have lose value. Now to understand or to change your thinking about how your about money, you have to understand crypto, you have to understand banks, you need to understand money. And you need to not just understand that, you need to understand how Bitcoin and crypto has changed the way money works. And for you to understand that, you have to understand the system that crypto wants to change or has changed, or you need to understand the system of what Bitcoin is trying to address. Welcome to my crypto series, Why Crypto? In these few minutes, we'll be addressing four things. One, what gives money value, or the value of money. Two, the printing problem. Three, the reality of inflation. Four, the money in your bank, is it really yours or is it safe? And five, the ultimate question of what Bitcoin is trying to address. My name is Philip Edward. If you are just seeing this video for the first time, you can subscribe and press the notification button to see more videos like this. We are on the series Crypto. So, what is the value of money? What gives money value? What gives money value? The truth of the matter is, say, what gives money value is not the money itself. So you have 1,000 naira now, or maybe £1,000 or $1,000. You cannot eat it. You cannot wear it. You cannot just use it to buy something itself. You can use it to buy something because of one thing: trust. So it is trust that gives money value. Trust that gives money value. You trust, say, the money wey you dey pay someone, to receive good, that person trust that he will take that same money and give to someone else, and someone else will collect the money. It is trust that governs it, and this trust is governed by institutions. In Nigeria, the trust is governed by the Central Bank of Nigeria. In America, is controlled by the Federal Reserve. In England, is governed by the Bank of England. So this trust is governed by this institution. I will explain why I say trust is more important. For example, two people comes to buy goods and services in your shop, and you give them change. So they gave you 1,000 naira and you give them 500 naira change. But that 500 naira change is torn. You don't tear. So one person you go see one person go say, one person go collect am, say don't worry, take I will collect am. That person will collect that torn money, believing that someone else will collect it, even though it's torn. But another person will collect am. The difference between these two people is trust. One trust that torn money will be collected by someone else. The other one do not trust or does not believe that torn money will be collected from someone else. Someone else will rejected it. You see, if 100 million Nigerians decide to say we no go collect torn money, they disbelieve that torn money will not be given to any other persons. The bank The bank, which is the central bank of Nigeria, will say, you know what, we are having that people are lack trust in money being turned. What should we do? Let us now change the money. Let it be more hard. Before you can tear it, it's very difficult. Let's make it stronger. That's what I'm talking about, trust. So what gives your money value is trust, not the money itself. Not the money itself. And what happens when people lose trust in the money? What happens when people lose trust in the systems that create this money? Now, this where lies the problem that Bitcoin was trying to address. Now, let's move to the next, which is the printing problem. The printing problem. Now, are you aware that the government can print money at any given time that they like? They can print money any given time they like. They can print money. They can print money to fund wars, print money for their budget, print money, in circulation and whatsoever they feel like doing. But you as an ordinary person, you say, there's nothing bad about printing more money. But the problem is that what gives printing more money does not mean it's valuable. Printing more money does not mean it's valuable. Printing more money doesn't mean it's valuable. But I'll give a clear example so you understand this. So the government decides to print money, more money in circulation for whatever reason they want to do. You as an individual, for example, want to, like 10 of us now, want buy 10 orange, and we have 1,000 naira, and that orange is 1,000 naira. That 10 orange will go around 10 of us. So let's say that the bank decides to say, you know what, let's print 100,000 naira. 100,000 naira. So now they print 100,000 naira. Now that 100,000, we have 100,000 each. We can buy excess of the orange, but the orange remain the same. You cannot print more orange. The orange still remain the same, but we have more money to buy it. That becomes a problem. That means the excess money is chasing fewer goods. So the price of orange will not increase, but still yet we can still afford to get the orange. Now, when price of the good increase, it now comes what they call inflation. Now, you may say, those that have 100,000, they can afford it and whatever. That is for the rich. Yeah, what they call it. It's for the rich. But the poor individual will not be able to afford it, because now the price of the orange has gone up. Now the rich can afford to buy it, but it's not going to still reach them. So it goes to the highest bidder. But with the poor or the masses that don't have that kind of money cannot afford to get that orange, so they'll be missing out. So that's what now leads to what we call inflation, price of things going up, skyrocketing, and people cannot afford that except the rich. So the problem with the problem with printing more money, or the printing problem, is that the more money that is printed is going to chase fewer goods, which leads up to what we call inflation, and many people could not be able to afford those goods and services in the market, because many money is chasing fewer goods, and only the classic or the rich people, or those that has the excess cash due to the favor of the banks that are printing more money for those particular classes of people, and are living well. Now let's move into the reality of inflation. In 2015, you could afford, most families could afford to pay their children's school fees comfortable. Most families could send their children to school, pay transport, pay rent. But in 2026, this is the reality. Most Nigerian families, after their savings, they cannot even pay their rent. They struggle to send their children to school. Why? Because of inflation. Because of inflation. Because they cannot trust the system. You cannot trust the system. The system is being controlled. This not just only happen, it happens in other countries like Zimbabwe, the Venezuela, whereby their currency is worthless. It's worthless. So this is the reality of inflation, that people now cannot, afford to take care of their families, afford basic food and amenities. They cannot afford that. But in 2015, they could afford it because the system has been rigged. Has been rigged. Now, the ultimate questions of why Bitcoin. The ultimate question of why Bitcoin. Someone came up with a crazy idea in 2019. That idea didn't come in place, or was not battered due to, the idea itself. It came as a result of the lack of trust first in the financial sector. In 2019, there was crisis, financial crisis. The banks had failed, the government had failed. So someone had already been thinking about this, but the opportunity came in 2019. Maybe someone say, what if we don't trust the banks? What if we don't need the banks, the middlemen, the government, that we can transfer money from between ourselves, we can trust ourselves, and we can be accountable among ourselves. That's where the ideology was born. In the upcoming series, we will discuss about this individual. But that's where that ideology was born. That, what, we don't need centralization. We don't need people controlling resources, making decisions that doesn't benefit the people, that only benefit only a small segment of the population. What if we cannot transfer our money ourselves with our own rules, that is publicly known, that is publicly or publicized in a particular way, that everybody knows is accountable, and before you can change anything, it's going to be difficult, except it has to do with agreement of everybody in the particular channel. That is where this Bitcoin ideology was born. This is where answers begin to come to the question of why Bitcoin. Of why Bitcoin. Don't get it wrong. Crypto is not a technological story. Its story is in the trust. Is in the trust. Its story is in the trust of who control money, who does the system benefit, and of course today, without with crypto or cryptocurrency or blockchain, will it evolve in the internet age? That's what the question people will be asking. In the next episode, we'll be diving on the ideology, or the ideology of decentralization and centralizations. Basically, we will be looking at the most important aspect of crypto, decentralization, what it means and why it matters, and what many people believe that it will change modern finance and modern money. So if you like this video, if it means a lot to you, or has changed your thinking a little bit, why can't you just subscribe, turn the notification button, share with your friends and your colleagues and those that will be interested in it. See you in the next episode.